Okay, kids, it's Friday. What do you say we do this thing? Hello and welcome to a Friday edition of Rob Carson's What in the World? How are you? I am going to try to open the show with a caveat, as you will. Last night I did a show. It was a wonderful show. I reached a lot of people with last night's show. This morning, after I got up, I found out that Facebook had completely deleted the show. They said that there was a copyright issue. That was false. That was not correct. I have never had Facebook completely crush a broadcast of mine before last night. And I was, I guess, kind of not surprised, but terribly, terribly, terribly disappointed. There is an attempt by Facebook to crush conservative dissent when it starts to resonate with people. My show has started to resonate with people dramatically. And unfortunately, it has raised the ire of some in Facebook. And now they're creating excuses. Tonight I tried to sign on to Facebook. And it was exceedingly difficult. My password had been changed. A lot of things have been changed. And honestly, to Facebook, fuck you. And I don't like to use that kind of language, but fuck you, Facebook. Hello, Deanna, and hello, Ryan. Honestly, I have never seen anything like this before. I don't say anything that is inflammatory, except for just telling Facebook to fuck off. But I am terribly, terribly, terribly disappointed and frustrated. And you know what's really scary? That I have a broadcast software that I use in my home. My Facebook broadcast last night disappeared from Facebook and disappeared from my hard drive. Normally, the broadcast software that I use is, it allows me to save the broadcast to my hard drive. It was gone. It is frightening. I am looking for alternatives. And this shouldn't come as a surprise because the broadcast company that I used to work for, Range Broadcasting, had all of their Facebook pages shuttered on October the 11th of 2018. Shouldn't come as a big surprise. I should not rely on Facebook for this broadcast, and I won't, and I won't, and I won't. I am just asking you, while you're here tonight, to share the message, and I will move on to other platforms because, honestly, I will not deal with this sort of goddamned Chinese communist censorship of this show. I've never seen anything like it, guys. Hello, Amy. How you doing, my niece? And Brian and Ryan and all you guys. And Carol. Hello. It is frightening. It is frightening that last night my podcast was being taken off and eliminated from ever existing because Facebook said that I did a copyright thing. There was nothing there. I've done hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of Facebook broadcasts and never had this. But because if you look at my Facebook page, it's resonating. People are really watching it. People are really getting it. And it's a conservative message, and it's about common sense. And it disappeared last night, not only from Facebook, from my goddamn hard drive. Are you out of your mind? Who reached into my broadcast software and said that has to go away? I don't even know what to say. Have you had your house burglarized? Have you had somebody go into your home and steal things that belong to you. I had that happen. I had it happen. This makes me feel as violated as that Facebook would look at my podcast from last night and remove it like it never existed, send me a trite message and not allow me to even respond. And I've tried to respond to Facebook and say, hey, man, what's going on? I feel like a door has been kicked down in my life, and people have come in. The Gestapo of Facebook has come in, the thought police. I should be able to share my views freely. It should happen. That's what being a publisher is all about. But Facebook has decided that my podcast, because it's maybe conservative, is not acceptable. And this is heart-wrenching for me because I reach a lot of people. And I'm going to continue to do it here, but I'm moving on, motherfuckers. I'm moving on. I'm moving on to YouTube and then just audio podcasting because, honestly, I can't depend on these guys to disagree with what I think to continue to allow me to broadcast. What the hell? The ultimate freedom to broadcast on Facebook as a publisher. It's the ultimate freedom. I don't have a budget. I mean, look at this show. I mean, this is a pretty damn good-looking show, right? It's a pretty damn good-looking show. When you look at Shannon Breen and all these people on Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, they're doing their shows from their home, CNN, Chris Cuomo, and all that crap. This looks damn effing good compared to what they do. And my content is as good because I am a professional broadcaster with a lot of experience, and I'm a nationally syndicated comedy writer, and this is as good as anything they can offer. I will offer any opinion against any one of them. Any one of them. And I'm having my freedom of expression crushed like a cigarette under the heel of someone. Unbelievable. It is frightening what's happening in our country. It is frightening what is happening with regard to personal freedom, governors and mayors around the country, and the coronavirus. So we'll get into this very shortly, guys. I felt violated. I felt angry when I went in this morning to my studio after doing a wonderful broadcast last night and seeing that it was gone. And it wasn't just gone on Facebook. I went to my hard drive and it was gone. What the hell? What the hell? Peter and Barry and Alan, all of you guys, please share with other people. The positive is this is going to turn around for the country. People are rebelling against this entire fallacy of the coronavirus shutting down everything. Dear God in heaven, what have we wrought? What have we accepted? People are finally beginning to say, bullshit. Bullshit. I don't like using this language. I normally don't, but I've never seen anything like it in my life. I've never in my life been told I can't say things. I've never in my life been told that I cannot express my opinion freely. I've never in my life got an email note from Facebook that said that somehow a copyright infringement happened, and it never happened. I always attribute my sources. I always say, who gave me the video clip that I'm running? This is crap. I'm not stealing anything. I'm not taking anything. I would never do that. Intellectual property is a big deal to me because I am a syndicated writer, and I've had my stuff stolen before. My God in heaven. Hello, James. I don't believe I've seen you before, my friend, but I'm glad you're joining me tonight. My views last night on the podcast were gigantic. They were gigantic. The posts that I've been putting up on Facebook, and maybe I'm a fool for relying on Facebook to share my views They should be. I've received as many on posts on Facebook. I've had 350,000 people reached, and then I've gone to zero, and then I've gone to zero. No reason whatsoever. It's not because it doesn't resonate with people. It's that the powers that be at Facebook are saying that I can't do this. If Facebook would be honest and say, hey, here's the deal. We are a liberal organization. We are only going to allow certain points of view. It'd be like if Politico opened a page for publishers. You'd know. I'm not going to mess with them. Okay? I've had some people lately. I saw some ads online for podcasts, and some of these sites I've known they're liberal, and I have no chance of getting on those platforms. Axios. I have no possibility. They're advertising. We want podcasters, and I realize Axios is a joke. It's a joke. Because I have no chance of having my podcast on there. But I'm going to tell you, if somebody leads you to believe that you can broadcast and you can express your views like Facebook or Twitter or YouTube, and then when you get a following, to crush it is the ultimate betrayal of the First Amendment. You have a choice. You have a choice. In your business, for instance, okay, Best Buy. You go to Best Buy? If you go to Best Buy and you're an employee, you have to wear a blue shirt, tucked in, and khakis. That's just the way it is. Your freedom of expression ends there. It does. This is the way it is. Sorry. Your freedom of expression ends there. When you work at Chipotle, you have to wear a uniform. When you work at Burger King, you have to wear a uniform. That's the end of your freedom of expression. Sorry. When it comes to somebody's messing with my computer, wow. But when it comes to something like this, you should be able to express it freely unless there is a parameter by Facebook that says we only want liberal people to broadcast here. That's it. And this is why they lie. This is why they're lying. And it is tragic and sad. And I have a friend who's got a website called Spreely.com, SPREELY.com. Speak freely. And Terry's doing a fairly decent job. Hello, Jeremy. There are some issues with his sites that are not working and with people being paid. But I'm going to tell you what happened last night with the erasure of an hour-long program that I had spent hours to produce and create, disappearing from Facebook and from my hard drive. What the fuck? Seriously, what the fuck? I don't like using that language. I don't. But by God in heaven, do we live in the goddamn Soviet Union? Do we live in communist China? That some people can speak freely on Facebook and others are crushed. And not only did they crush the video that I did last night, which was not a copyright infringement incident, not only, but they reached into my hard drive and took the video. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Donald Trump issued yesterday a plan for reopening the country. It's going to be slow going. There's phase 1, 2, 3. Here's a little bit of the president. I'll share this real quick here and get your thoughts on it.
Based on the latest data, our team of experts now agrees that we can begin the next front in our war, which we are calling opening up America again. To preserve the health of our citizens, we must also preserve the health. Our approach outlines 3 phases in restoring our economic life. We are not opening all at once, but one careful step at a time. And some states will be able to open up sooner than others. Some states are not in the kind of trouble that others are in.
Okay, I agree. New York, not ready to open. South Dakota, oh, hell yeah. Kansas, where I live, oh, hell yeah. All right? This is a gradual reopening of the country. And it should happen minimally, gradually. Because if you look at the death rate among people who have gotten this virus, it's about 0.1%, which is the same as the flu. All right? You should be able to dine out at a goddamn restaurant. You should be able to eat out at a restaurant. What have we done? What have we done? You can't see a concert. The NCAA tournament was canceled. The baseball season is canceled so far. The football season, maybe next on the radar, you can't see a movie. I wanted to see Five Finger Death Punch in Kansas City. It's gone. It's gone. Are you kidding me? What have we done? What have we done? What have we done to our world? What have we done to our country that you can't go to church? The numbers don't make any sense. 2 million people in the world out of 7.5 billion have been tested positive for this. Now, the testing is showing that more people are afflicted, but the death rate is still not growing. 0.1%. What have we done? What have we allowed to happen? What have we, as sheep, allowed bureaucrats to tell us is going to happen and followed them and given up everything? I can't get a goddamn haircut. I can't get a haircut. I can't go sit at the bar and have a drink. Are you kidding me? Ryan and Ed, how are you guys? Governor of New Jersey, Phil Murphy, let something slip yesterday, or it might have been the day before. This is profound. This is profound. We have a Bill of Rights. One of them is the First Amendment. And I have argued for years, the greatest piece of legislation ever passed in the history of mankind. Do you know how important freedom of expression is? Do you know how important that freedom of assembly and freedom of religion is? Do you know how important that is? Are you so spoiled as someone who was born in this country, you've never been crushed by a tank? You've never been murdered by a government. You've never been put in a gulag. And this idiot, New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy, in attempting to protect people, protect us from ourselves, and eliminate personal responsibility and personal risk. This is what this a-hole said. Listen to this carefully and realize how ungodly reckless this is.
It was the right decision to make.
So you made that
You're such a dick.
decision, and as I noted before, 15 congregants at a synagogue in New Jersey were arrested and charged for being in a synagogue together. Now, the Bill of Rights, as you well know, protects Americans' right, enshrines their right to practice their religion as they see fit and to congregate together, to assemble peacefully. By what authority did you nullify the Bill of Rights in issuing this order? How do you have the power to do that?
That's above my pay grade, Tucker. So I wasn't thinking of the Bill of Rights.
Whoa. Do you realize what this effing idiot has just said?
The Bill of Rights in issuing this order. How do you have the power to do that?
That's above my pay grade.
Okay, what he's just said is that I'm woefully ignorant. What he has just said, when you hear that's above my pay grade, it means that you are woefully ignorant. You have no idea what you're talking about. If somebody asked me about nuclear physics, I would say that's above my pay grade because I am woefully ignorant of it. I'm a very smart guy, but I would say that's above my pay grade. That is a Gibby. James says, Deanna wants to know when Taco Talk is starting. Not sure. Not sure what that means. Listen to this.
So I wasn't thinking of the Bill of Rights when we did this.
I wasn't thinking about the Bill of Rights when we did this. I wasn't thinking about freedom of speech, freedom of expression, freedom of assembly. I wasn't thinking about it when we did this. Are you out of your effing mind, man?
We went to first of all, we looked at the data and the science, and it says people have to
He's laughing.
Stay away from each other. That's the best thing we could do to break the back of the curve of this virus that leads to lower hospitalizations and ultimately fatalities.
And I'm not contesting that, though. I think I do think there's a debate. This is a rolling conversation because we're learning new things every day, and nothing is settled at this point.
Understood.
But I do want, since you are an elected official, a leader in the government, an executive, how do you have the authority to order something that so clearly contravenes the Bill of Rights of the United States, the U.S. Constitution? Where do you get the authority to do that?
Is that above your pay grade, you idiot?
Well, here's the thing. We know we need to stay away from each other, number one. Number two, we do have broad authority within the state. And number three, we would never do that without coordinating, discussing, and hashing it out with the leaders, the variety of the leaders of the faiths in New Jersey. We are among, if not the most diverse state in America,
I'm sure that you talk to every rabbi and priest, but there's
You've all talked about trampling on the rights guaranteed by the Constitution, and you decided that, we can crap on them.
a deeper question here, and I'm just going to ask you one last time because I think it's important. I'm sure you've thought about this. You can't just, as the governor of a state, tell people who they can talk to when and where, because the Constitution of the United States, upon which all of this is based, prohibits you from doing that. So you clearly decided that you could do it. Did you consult an attorney about this? Because this is a legal question as well as a medical one, isn't it?
I don't go to the men's room without consulting an attorney, so I guarantee you we did that.
Well, it doesn't surprise me, actually.
I'll give you an example that was not related to the synagogue. I called up Cardinal Tobin, Cardinal Joe Tobin in Newark. There are 5 or 6 archdioceses in New Jersey. It was coming up to Easter and Holy Week in particular. And I said, listen, I'm really concerned about drive-through Holy Communion because we had heard some stories about priests who unwittingly had the virus and unwittingly passed it on to parishioners.
I've had enough of him. How about you guys? Hello, Ed. Hello, Peter. How are you? Yesterday in Michigan, there were massive protests in Lansing, which honestly, Lansing, what a shithole. I saw some of the video, and listen, I lived in a northern state and lived in Minnesota and Minneapolis. And Minneapolis is a lovely town. Winter, it sucks. But honestly, there's nothing redeeming about Lansing, Michigan in the wintertime. Dear God in heaven. Wow. So there were massive protests yesterday, and apparently this Nazi, Gretchen Whitmer, and I do not use that lightly. I do believe that she doesn't give a rat's ass about freedom of expression. She apparently has been realizing that the American people in Michigan have spoken out. There's over 200,000 people who had signed up for a recall. Thousands of people in a parade of cars 5 miles plus long went to Michigan, and apparently they are saying, and she is responding to the possibility of opening the state on May the 1st. And she'd better, or her ass is going to be voted out. Her ass is going to be gone, and she should be. She should be written out of town on a rail. This is how twisted this psychotic. I don't know. She's. You look at her. I think she gets her face polished. There's something about this woman. She has no regard for personal freedom. She said you can't buy seeds for your garden, you can't buy carpeting, you can't buy flooring, you can't do anything that is supposedly non-essential by her decree. 4 sheriff's deputies have said, screw you, we're not going to follow it, and maybe she's starting to feel the heat. She's done. She was being considered apparently by Joe Biden, who can't remember which way is up, and I'm going to share some Joe Biden confusion in a second that will blow you away. But she is apparently relenting, and she should, because she's done. She's done. She's a psycho. She is a tyrannical opportunist. We've seen this all over the country, and it's all Democrats. It's all Democrats. Now, you have revealed your true colors in an incredible way, Democrats. Your totalitarian tendencies, you're looking nationally at this as an opportunity to forward a leftist agenda rather than to help the American people. I mean, my God, wow. But it gets worse. In Michigan, you can't get a knee surgery, and you can't get a crown on your tooth. You can't get a hip replacement, maybe a bypass for your heart, because it's non-essential. Barack Obama said, take a pain pill. If you're over 90 years old, take a pain pill. But apparently you can have an abortion, okay? The governor says that abortion is life-sustaining, unless you're a fetus.
As we speak, in Texas and a couple of other states, I think Ohio may be another, the state has asked to suspend abortion services as part of this COVID-19 protocol. This is probably going to go to the Supreme Court. What is your reaction to that? You're a governor. You have to make these decisions.
What is the Axe Files?
As well. There are other procedures that have been suspended.
We stopped elective surgeries here in Michigan.
I'd say abortion's kind of elective. It's really, I mean, unless it is legitimately going to kill the mom, which 99.9% of the time it's not, it's elective.
And some people have tried to say that that type of a procedure is considered the same, and that's ridiculous. A woman's health care, her whole future, her ability to decide if and when she starts a family is...
Yeah, and you know what? Honestly, she had sex, and she had sex with a guy, and we knew what was going to happen when that happened, and the decision to decide when you have a family kind of affected by a child. Well, you know what? With the sperm got in the egg, that's when you decided to have a family.
It is not an election. It is a fundamental to her life. It is life-sustaining, and it's something...
And pardon the inconvenience of getting impregnated when you didn't want to have a family. Too bad for the baby. Now, it's amazing. I have a terrific arsenal now with regard to my stance on abortion. Because 2 years ago, I found out where I come from. 2 years ago, I found my family, my biological family, thanks to Ancestry DNA. And I found out that I was an unwanted pregnancy. And my mother, who's no longer alive, my biological mother, not my mom, my biological mother, had me. She was sexually assaulted. She had me. I don't know her. I never will. I know her progeny, my half-sister. I know my niece. I know my cousins. She had me. This wretched, awful governor is saying that abortions are life-sustaining. What about my life, you giant flaming piece of crap. What about my life? I wasn't convenient. I wasn't convenient. She certainly wasn't planning on a family with her rapist. What an awful woman. What an awful, awful woman. And thousands of protesters went to Lansing yesterday, which, my God, again, ugly, ugly town in the winter. Just an ugly, awful, filthy, gross town, according to footage. Maybe if you live in Lansing, you might be. But honestly, wow, really? And here's what she said about those who attended. Patriots who are concerned about the freedom to assemble, the freedom of speech. Here's what she said about them.
But I think the thing that I'm concerned most about, and that I think my fellow governors are as well, is a resurgence. When you see a political rally, that's what it was yesterday. A political rally like that.
Honestly, look at the teeth. Hold on.
Where people aren't wearing.
How much did those cost? How much did the teeth cost? The Botox, whatever mime face you're doing there, the hair dye. Dear God, how much did that all cost?
Masks, and they're in close quarters and they are touching one another.
Your teeth should not be that white.
You know that's precisely what makes this kind of a disease drag out and expose more people.
You've done that because you haven't allowed people to be exposed to it. You haven't allowed people with immune systems to do something about this. You just use this as an opportunity to crush dissent, thought, the ability for people to get out, the ability for people to express themselves.
People came and converged together in Lansing, and then they went out back to their homes across the state of Michigan. The odds are very high that they're spreading COVID-19 along with it. And so,
well, you have no scientific basis for that whatsoever.
It's that kind of irresponsible action.
I think your actions are irresponsible.
That puts us in this situation where we might have to actually think about extending stay-home orders, which is.
Oh, yeah, let's go ahead and just extend your, your crushing of freedom. Unbelievable. Hello, Johnny. By the way, right up here, that's my latest design with my friend Sam Cangelosi. So if you go to tpublic.com, conservatives, you can get Chuck Fina on a tote, on a phone cover, on a hoodie, on a laptop cover, okay? China is responsible for this. The country of China has sexually assaulted the entire world. Maybe it's not sexual, but they've assaulted the entire world. It's going to cost us, at a minimum, $6 trillion. It's going to drive people out of business. China did this. China did this. They have sole responsibility for it. They need to be punished, sued. They need to go back to third world medieval hellhole status. China has done nothing but steal intellectual property and enslave their people to make those things. We need to get the F out of China. Chuck Fina, get it. I just ordered my T-shirt, Chuck Fina, tpublic.com, conservatives. The mayor of Las Vegas is frustrated. Las Vegas is a glorious place. I've been to Vegas more times than I can count, and I love, love, love me some Vegas, and it is being crushed to powder. The ultimate middle finger to those who would overregulate us is Vegas. Carolyn Goodman, the Las Vegas mayor, has called on the state to lift their lockdown because Vegas is dying for the first time in the history of Vegas.
This shutdown has become one of total insanity, in my opinion, for there is no backup of data as to why we are shut down from the start. No plan in place how to move through the shutdown or how even to come out of it. According to experts with whom I have spoken, this virus is not going away. It's not going to be going away this month, next month, and much like the flu and other viruses that have impacted populations around the world, this virus, or a derivative thereof, will be part of what we work through going forward.
Wow. I mean, wow. She's like the governor of South Dakota. Isn't it amazing, all these powerful women, these women with brilliant, brilliant minds and clarity are leading the charge against this nonsense? Bravo, Mayor. Bravo, Mayor. Wow, wow, wow. Let's do a little bit of Joe Biden stuff here, shall we? Joe Biden was on MSNBC yesterday talking about, and this is what Democrats do. They always refer to, like, their economic policy for the Democrats is circa 1929. It is. If you look at a Democrat's economic plan, it involves infrastructure. It involves massive tax increases. It is the New Deal. You got the Green New Deal. None of that worked for the country in 1929. It actually prolonged the Depression, but they never give up. They never get over that 80-year-old playbook. Honestly, crazy 90-year-old playbook. Joe Biden talked about Franklin Delano Roosevelt with regard to confronting COVID. And here's what he had to say. And this, and I want you to look at the anchor. I think it's Sanjay Gupta, and I never remember this guy's name. The blonde-haired dude, Gloria Vanderbilt's son, whatever. Anyway, here, watch how confused they are.
Kinds of things that have to be done. There's during World War II, where Roosevelt came up with a thing that was totally different.
Look at Sanjay Gupta. He's like, okay, come on, Joe, just spit out a thought. Just do it, buddy. You can do it. He called it the World War II. He had the War Production Board. No, not at all. Let's watch it again.
Have to be done. There's during World War II, where Roosevelt came up with a thing that was totally different than he called it the World War II. He had the War Production Board.
Anderson Cooper, both of them just kind of going. Yesterday, we noticed Joe Biden is sitting with his wife, Jill Biden, who's a doctor in something or other. She's not a doctor, though. She has a doctorate. And they brought her in to his interviews yesterday, and I think part of this is to keep him on task. And I'm going to just say, guys, the man's not there. He's not there. His faculties are gone. And I think it's cruel to keep him in the race. I really do. Here is Joe Biden with his wife, Jill, trying to be cool, trying to be like, okay, everything's cool, everything's awesome. Here is Joe Biden with Jill.
We gotta. It's just, but you gotta. I mean, we gotta reassure. Look, here, my message to everybody I talk to.
This has got to be tough for any spouse, noting that her husband is in decline, seriously. And the only reason she's there is to direct him, to help him, to correct him. Did you see that Land O'Lakes butter? They are changing their logo there. It used to be this Native American woman, been there for 100 years. Company's been founded since 1921. Apparently that old design is very dated, and a lot of people find it offensive. You know who found it offensive? White liberals. Now, I had a discussion with a college classmate of mine, and he said, "Oh yeah, they're very offended, and Native Americans are offended." And I said, "No, they're not. I trust me. I've dealt with 30 years of liberalism on the radio, and white guilty liberals are willing to step forward and be offended for afflicted groups you could be handicapped, you could be blind, you could be deaf, you could be whatever, you could be a Native American, Chinese, whatever. They're willing to step forward, and the affected groups like Native Americans don't care. Washington Redskins. Very few people are offended. More white liberals are offended by that than Native Americans. And I was listening to my buddy Chris Plant, and he had somebody from like the Sioux Council in North Dakota, and they voted against changing the logo, the Land O'Lakes logo, because it wasn't a big deal. But white liberals forwarded the case, and they got rid of it, What is offensive about this? If anything, it's a tribute to a Native American woman who is in full Native American garb. Do Native Americans not like butter? Do they not like butter? Maybe. Here's the new logo that's been sanitized, like liberals like to do. They like to sanitize. Land O'Lakes. There's a lake. There's no Native American. Just a big hole in the middle there. Honestly, wow. Beth Ford, president and CEO, said, as Land O'Lakes looks forward to our 100th anniversary, we've recognized we need packaging that reflects the foundation and our heart of our company culture. Yeah. The new packaging has already started to appear on tubs of butter, food service products, and deli cheese. Will begin appearing on stick butter in either spring or summer of 2020. So go get it. Go get it while you can. All right. I think we're about done for tonight. Pretty much about done. I want to thank you for joining me. I'm going to go ahead and save this video before it's deleted by Facebook. Peter. Land O'Lakes, because of the logo, not for any other reason than I like it. Land O'Lakes is good butter. Peter says, effing stupid. Yeah. I know, dude. One more thing. Have you gotten your government check? I'm not getting one. I'm making enough that I don't need it. I don't expect one. I don't really want it. Indiana man checked his $1,700 stimulus, expecting to get it for his kid and him. Got $8 million. $8 million. Here's the story from WGN in Chicago.
County, Indiana got quite a surprise when he visited an ATM and learned he'd already gotten a federal stimulus payment.
Yeah, Dana Rebick is in New Chicago with more on what turned out to be a rather unusual deposit. Dana.
It was. This man is a volunteer firefighter here, and unbeknownst to him, he did get this first federal stimulus payment over the weekend, but it wasn't quite what he was expecting.
I went to the ATM at the Family Express, and once I withdraw $200 out of my account, I looked at the available balance of that was still left in my account, and apparently my account had $8.2 million in it. I'm like, wow. What in the world is going on here?
He come over and said, you ain't gonna believe this. I said, come on, let's go. And we went back up to the same spot where he drew go, and it pulled out $8.2 million.
He was supposed to receive $1,700. Calvin tried the ATM again.
I ran the card again and again. $8.2 million. I was like, man, something's up with this.
I said, hey, what kind of truck you buying me?
This morning, Calvin called his bank. They didn't see that amount in his checking account anymore, but did note that his $1,700 stimulus payment was deposited, making this volunteer firefighter wonder if there was some sort of fluke and taxpayers are receiving way more or less than they should.
Now, apparently this has happened in a couple different places, one in Florida and here, and it's a mistake. And it's a fantasy to wake up and have that money in your account and realize, it's not real. It's not real. Nice to dream, though, right? Nice to dream. Okay, it's time for me to go. If you get a chance to, maybe order a T-shirt. It'd be awesome. That's one of the many politically incorrect designs that we have. Let me get rid of the Land O'Lakes thing here. Oh, bye, Land O'Lakes. I want to thank you for joining me tonight. I'm going to save this immediately. I'm going to post it to YouTube immediately at Rob Carson Show, YouTube at Rob Carson Show, so it doesn't just disappear. I want to thank you for joining me tonight, guys. Jeremy, thanks for your support, by the way. Jeremy Hansen, my good friend, who's a fellow podcaster. I appreciate your support. This show is growing dramatically. People realize the quality of it, the experience that I have, and the reality of what I say, and I appreciate it. So, on that note, I say, have a glorious weekend. Things are only going to get better, and they're going to get better very quickly. God bless you guys. See you soon.